Hey guys, it's Nick here, and I got another unboxing video. Now, I'm kind of concerned about this one because the way I received the box um, was like this. So let's hope nothing's damaged in here. I do, since I'll just kind of spoil it just a bit. Since I ordered some LPs, whenever I do that on Vite, I always add the additional protective packaging because they already add protective packaging. You can request like additional protective packaging. You have to pay for it. It's like 10, 15 bucks, but if it keeps the stuff safe, then it's worth it. So let's see. We're gonna open it and we're gonna see what's inside. And I'm gonna talk about a couple other things as well. Um, so. Whew. Yeah. Now, it's one of those boxes with a weird kind of flat thing. It's hard to explain. So you could probably tell that I wanted to get home as soon as I could from work so I could open the stuff. So let's see what's in here. I'm going to have to place this box on the ground because it's the only realistic spot. There also is something else that I bought that is quite huge, and I'll show you that when I'm done here, if I can remember, of course. I'm getting older. My memory's not that great, you know. But they did put quite a ton of bubble wrap in here. I mean, look at all this. I mean, woo! But again, if this protects the packages, then it's just for. But here is everything, like a sandwich or something. I don't know. Good thing is I can use this box to help move some stuff to my new place. I'm still in the process of doing that. Some of the stuff that transpired last month kind of hit me a bit, so stress with releasing the album and stuff, and we'll get into that. But I don't want to get too into it because I think there's some stuff that's better left not said in public. I'm not the kind of person that likes to air my dirty laundry, as they say. So I may not get too much into detail, but we'll kind of we'll get into that later. Yes. All right, we're just gonna open some stuff. There's like one or two video game related things this time, so don't worry. I know every time I do one of these, it's always like CDs or records, but and one of them is a mix of both. What do I mean? Well, you'll see when I get to it. All right. I found this, and I can't even find any other copies online. It's almost like the CD doesn't exist, but I happened to look for it, and I found a copy of this. It's like a brand new copy, it seems, of American Woman by the Guess Who, which, yeah, you can find that CD anywhere, but this is a Japanese version, which it's hard to read, but its Japanese title is Guess Who, American Woman. And it had a different title on the LP version, but I can't remember what it is offhand, so forgive me. I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to look it up. Sorry. All right, next thing. I got a couple good deals on this stuff, though, and I'll get into that later. I wonder if this is the more expensive thing that I purchased. Let's see. And if it is, it's video game related, so don't worry. No, it's not. But this is a pretty rare item, and I'm very glad to have found a copy of this finally. I've been actually trying to get a copy for years. I just don't look for it often. This is, again, only one I could find. But this is Pearl Jam 10, the I think was the 25th anniversary or Legacy Japan edition. I've been looking high and low for this thing, and when I do try to look for it. And I'm so glad I found a copy finally. Now, I'm not the hugest Pearl Jam fan. In fact, 10 is the only album I'm familiar with because my mom used to play that one when I was really little, so that's the only reason why I know of it. But my favorite song on that album is definitely Black because that's the only song that made me cry once. It's because it was almost like Eddie Vedder went to the future, saw what happened to me in high school, and wrote a song about it. But anyway, I don't want to be a downer, so let's move on. Alright, so 2 games here. This guy, I don't know if this guy knew what he had, but, and it was still kind of pricey, but for the 2, it was a really good deal. I got a Famicom version of Knight Rider. I also have the US version complete in box. I did a video about it like some years ago. So this one in particular is pretty pricey. I think complete copies can go like anywhere from like 100 to 200 bucks on eBay. So, and I think there's like a stain or something on this camera. I don't know what it is, but I can try to clean it up. I don't know if it's gonna help anything. Probably not. Let me readjust that though. So I'm so glad to get a copy of this, because even though this is like a really terrible game, you know, it's Pack-In Video, and I really like them as a developer. Although they're kind of like the Japanese equivalent to Mindscape on the NES, you know, and their logos are even the same colors, so red, green, and blue. But the other one I got was another game that I've been looking for. This one's not as expensive online, but it's around 50 bucks. But this is Knight Rider Special for the PC Engine. And even though I can't even get past the first level in this game without cheating, it's a lot better. I mean, it's kind of like, it's very similar to the NES game, except it's third person and it plays a lot better. Also, what's really weird is there's actually a stage where you fight a boss. It plays very similar to Taito HQ. You drive through this whole these twists and turns stuff, and then at the end you fight a boss, or you have to, you know, catch him or whatever. But there's a couple of criticisms about this game. One, there's a stage where you literally have to lose in order to continue the game. Stage 5 in particular, you're fighting this boss and you can't damage him, so you either have to let him kill you, or you have to let the timer run out. Either way, it's really weird, and I don't get it. The story in this game is the other problem. It sucks. You get a cutscene about some, like, they don't even name who the villain is. They just say, this one lady was kidnapped, go find her, she was last seen, or the perpetrator took off in this yellow car. You catch the yellow car, and then the game moves on to the next level, and it's like, okay, you don't even get to see the enemy. It's kind of weird, but from what I could translate of the game, and someone actually did do a fan translation. By the way, I'll save you the trouble. The manual's text about the storyline is exactly the same as what's in the game, so you don't really need the manual for that. But it's basically like some doctor invented this thing called a W gun, and some terrorists want to steal it. The guy, whoever's in the yellow car, wants to steal it for, you know, and if he does, then, you know, things are going to suck or whatever. There actually is a voice sample of Kit, though, a Japanese voice sample of Kit, which is pretty fun. It plays, you know, before every level. I don't know if it's an actual voice sample from the Japanese version of the show or not, but I thought it was pretty amusing. But anyways, yeah, story sucks, but the game's actually pretty decent from what I could see and from what others have said about it. So, yeah, this one almost feels like it's a game or something, but let's see what it is. Oh, okay, these are 2 movies. Sorry. Yeah, I bought a couple of them, so. Let me open this. It's a set of 2 movies, or like the first movie and the second movie. I still haven't watched the last one, like Matrix Revelation. I haven't watched that. But, there we go. So yeah, this is, National Treasures 1 and 2. I wanted to see the Japanese dub, because like in the second movie, there's that part where Nicolas Cage freaks out and he does the British accent and everything. I'm really looking forward to hearing that in Japanese, so maybe I'll give it a watch this weekend. Who knows? Alright. I got some wrapped in pink here, so I wonder what that is. I'm kind of concerned. This is a nice cloth, though. I think I'll keep it. Oh, okay. This is okay. I told you guys I got something that was like a mix between both a video game and music. Well, this is it. This is Zoid's 2, or Zoido 2, Zenabasu no Gyakushu, Ongakushu. Translated, that is Zoids 2, the counterattack of Zenabas, or Zenabasu. I don't really know what they were going for the English name. Or it could be Zenabasu Strikes Back, or whatever. And then Music Collection. So these are arrangements of the music from the Famicom game Zoids 2, same name, without the music collection part added. And I actually have the soundtrack for the first game. That came on cassette, and it was weird because it came in like this huge, like as if it were an MSX game, because there was an MSX version of that. This one was Famicom only, but these are live orchestral arrangements of the game soundtrack. Now, the game soundtrack for both the first and second game were done by the legendary film composer Joe Hisaishi. I think some people, yeah, I always thought it was Hisaishi before I knew Japanese. That's Hisaishi. Well, anyways, he did the music for the first game as well, and some of the tracks from the first game made it into the second game. And some of these tracks, now someone actually a few months ago, or a couple months ago, I think back in June, happened to upload the soundtrack, but apparently this was an extremely rare CD. From what I can gather, I'd have to check again, but I think only, I want to load up the page here, but I think I read like it was, you can only get that CD through a giveaway, and they only made like 1,500 copies or something like that. But I want to look at this really quick. So let me see, because they had the number. But there was some kind of lottery or something that you had to win it through, and they only made a very limited amount of copies. So I actually paid quite a bit for this tiny little package here. But it was worth it. I always like having these CDs. I can listen to them at work, when I'm driving somewhere, if I'm just on a road trip or something. Yeah, they made 1,500 copies. I'm going to just put this in really quick. So yeah, limited edition item with only 1,500 copies distributed via the lottery, or some lottery that they did. I'm guessing it was some kind of drawing or sweepstakes or something. And it even says on this page that getting a copy would be pretty difficult. Well, I own one. I had to pay quite a bit, but I worked some overtime. So I don't really mind about paying a ton of money for these CDs and stuff, because the way I see it, I'm going to be listening to them the rest of my life. And to me, that is priceless. So, so the game itself, I actually played through it with cheats over the weekend. It's pretty crappy. It's by Micronix. You can kind of think of them as like the Japanese equivalent of Imagineering, you know, the company that puts out all those licensed crap games and that we got in the U.S. Now, there's something I want to bring up really quick, too. I always used to hear about people complaining, like, oh, why didn't we get this game and it stayed in Japan? Well, there is one thing, though. Now, because people in the U.S. are like, God, Japan got all the great games and we got all the crappy ones. That's what I want to point out. In Japan, people don't realize they got twice or maybe 3 times or more as crappy games as we did. The U.S., we actually had a bit of a leash on that. We got a lot of crappy games, yes, but we did get some good ones. But Japan got even more bad games than we did, so naturally they got even more good ones as a result. So you got to think about that too, because in Japan the quality standards weren't as strict as they were in the U.S. And things that could be put in the game, like, you know, sexual content and stuff, that was different back in the day compared to the U.S. rules that we had, like Nintendo of America compared to Nintendo of Japan. So that is something to think about. But I'm glad to finally have that in my possession. Alright, now I think we just got the LPs left, or at least a lot of this looks like it's just going to be LPs. So, actually, I think I have another CD in there somewhere. I just have to find it. I hope I have it anyway. It was supposed to come with all this. So, but let's see. Okay, that side doesn't open. That's fine. Whew. So yeah, some Japanese LPs. Let's see what we got in here. It's nothing you guys are going to be interested in, I'm sure, but some people like seeing all this, so here we go. Oh yeah, this is Men Without Hats, Rhythm of Youth. I just happened across the Safety Dance a while back, and I was like, oh, you know what? I should see if I get the, because the Japanese version was never released on CD, or I mean, in Japan. It was only released on LP in Japan, so I figured let's get the LP. Awesome. Looking forward to listening to that one. I haven't used my turntable in the past like couple months though, so might, yeah, it's gonna take some time to get used to that again, but maybe not. That would be great if it didn't. Okay, another LP. What do we got in here? If I can cut this stuff. All right. I think that's enough. And we got the great Kin Band Conspiracy album, which has Jeopardy on it, which is why I bought it. Again, the LP only released in Japan, but not the CD. So, that's why I got it. But the Japanese title, I should say, is, let's see, Shizuko Daisuki, which means I love San Francisco, which I think is one of the songs on here. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it is. I don't know. Oh yeah, and the Japanese Men Without Hats album, instead of Rhythm of Youth, Rhythm of Youth, they just call it Safety Dance. So, there's nothing special there. All right. I know I was supposed to get a CD with this, or one more CD, so I hope it's in here somewhere. It better be, because again, I ordered that. Alright. I'll have to probably do some deep diving into the box, though. It almost looks like it's not there, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. Okay, so this is Leif Garrett's debut album. You're like, Leif Garrett, you're into that? I like how the album title is called New Prince, because this is a self-titled album. Well, when I was tracking with Ron Krasinski on my song Tell Me Why I Should, he told me that he played on Leif Garrett's album. So I was at a record store down there, and I happened to see the album, and surprisingly for an album produced by Michael Lloyd, there are actually personnel credits. He usually didn't put them in the albums he worked on. But, so I bought it, I took it home, and I listened to it. Well, one of the songs skipped. So I thought, you know what, screw it, I'll get a Japanese version, and now I own it. So, that's cool. Okay. I hope that CD's in there, but this is the last LP, and I already know what it's going to be, because there's only one other that I can think of that I haven't unboxed yet. So I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to be. Again, I'm kind of surprised I found this, because it's pretty hard to find, but this is Ed Ames, My Cup Runneth Over. But the Japanese title is called Ed Ames, and then the title of the album is Golden Hito wo Utao, or Sings the Golden Hits. So I think it's supposed to all come together, but the slash kind of divides that from the artist to the album title. So I guess you could technically say Ed Ames sings the golden hits, but anyways, My Cup Runneth Over. I was told by Joe Mack's daughter that he played bass on it, so I'm like, oh, I gotta get that, because there's no personnel credits on this, but it's a good song, and now I'm actually going to be writing a song in that style. It's not going to be released anytime soon, but for my second album, you know, I'm going to be doing that. Okay, now I've got to see if I can find that CD, because now I'm getting concerned. I'm getting very concerned that that CD is not in here. Oh my god, it does not appear to be in here. That is weird. Oh wait, I took it out. Maybe that's why. I took it out and I didn't even, okay. I hope this is it. If it's not, we got a problem. But I think it is. Yep, it is. Okay, cool. I was worried for a minute. It's like, I've never had that experience with Bayou before, so I was hoping to get this on Saturday, but of course I had to wait an extra day, which, you know, no huge deal. It's just a slight inconvenience. Alright, let's if I can open this. But again, I'm glad they put protective packaging. It doesn't look like anything was damaged, fortunately. But again, whenever I order LPs, especially, I get the protective packaging, because even though it costs more, yeah, shipping this package too is expensive. It's like almost $200. But the advantage is you get it within a few days of, like it takes them a couple days to ship it, but after that you get it in like maybe 3 to 5 days tops. So it's kind of worth it. But this is Ed Ames, but this is a Japanese version, I believe. So yeah, Ed Ames, the very best of Ed Ames, and my cup runneth over's on here. I didn't know he did They Call the Wind Maria, but that's cool. There's a Kind of Hush. I didn't know he did that either. So I am very interested to listen to this. And yeah, you can see Japanese text on the back here, but yeah. Alright, well, with that said, guys, that's all of that stuff. Now, what was the big thing I was talking about? Well, I never thought I'd be able to do this. I just realized it's in the corner of my camera shot the whole time, and I just noticed that. But I acquired my dream bass. Oh, this is a Fender Precision bass, the American Original 60s. Now I have to clarify on that, because that's the name of the series of guitars, but they're built to the spec of 60s P basses, so of the actual 60s P bass. So it's not actually one from the 1960s. There's no way those things go for more than my car. So I had the covers installed. I had foam put in here. So Joe Mack, my favorite bassist, you guys probably already know that, he played a 60s precision bass, Lake Placid blue. His pickguard was white though, but I like this color better. And he used Labella flat wounds, deep talking flats, .052 to .110 gauge. So he basically played the same exact thing, used the same exact setup as James Jamerson. And I like him too. He's not my favorite bassist, but I do really respect his work. And of course the tension. You could probably see it from here, but high tensions, the action. For those who aren't technically inclined with instruments like me, the action is the distance between the strings and the fretboard. So, it'd probably be more like this, but mine's all the way up here. I have huge hands, which helps with my, finger strength. It is a bit banged up in a couple places, but I think it just makes it look more legit. And honestly, I think I could primer over that or something, but I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, I could play some of Jamerson's stuff, but I use 2 fingers, and I really don't get... I think if I do a video of that, though, people are going to be like, "Oh, you're using 2 fingers. Jamerson used 1." I can use 1 in some songs, but the thing is, Jamerson did it because that's what was comfortable to him. I mean, he was an upright bassist. I don't know if I showed people. I got an electric upright a while back. Anyhow, I kind of do Bernadette a bit, but I have to use 2 fingers for that. Yeah, that foam is, it sounds kind of funky without the amplifier. With the amplifier, it sounds, or like when it's plugged into something, it sounds beautiful. So I'm going to, for my second album, which I'm going to talk about in a sec, I'm definitely going to be writing a Motown type of song, and I'm going to get like a Jamerson style bass line on that, because, oh, it sounds so good. Okay, yeah, second album. I want to... Here's the thing. I don't want to go too much into what happened between me and the artist that did the artwork for my first album. I did a video on that already, and they ended up sending me an email, a pretty angry one, and they said a bunch of crap about me, which wasn't true. And I responded to that, then they responded again, and my buddies were just telling me, you know what, screw them, don't give them the attention they want, just ignore them, just, they're dead to you. And they pretty much are. I mean, I'm going to pray for their souls, and that's fine, but them and all the buddies that of theirs that I worked with, um, they they just kind of turned on me. It was kind of weird. I don't know if it was politics. I don't know if it was like spiritual views. I don't know what it was. But they're buddies. I blocked them. All the ones that I know of, anyway. The ones that I worked with. Um, it's really too bad that people that this artist didn't want to end things the way they are. And I'm not going to say their name. They'll get a credit in the album. I guarantee them that when I release the album. And some people might be asking, well, why not just get different artwork? Well, that's one, I can't afford that, and two, even if I could, it would take way too long. That's like a few years worth of artwork. I think like the first song I released was in 2023, maybe 2024. So that's like 2-3 years worth of artwork that I paid for. Um, so I'm not going to let all that stuff go to waste. Plus, for the album art, I had to pay an additional fee for licensing purposes and stuff to the artist. So yeah, I'm going to use the artwork. Um, I kind of don't want to, but I have no choice. And you know, the artwork is fine. It's just the person I worked with was unprofessional in their behavior, and that's fine. The good thing is I do have a new artist that I already kind of knew who I was going to have for the second album. So it's going to be a completely different art style, but I think it works great with my music. And I would say who it is, but I think one, I should wait till this thing blows over, and two, maybe I'll just wait until the first song is released because it's going to be next month anyway. But this is an artist who I've worked with, and he seems to be, you know, more professional about things. But this isn't a video to bash the artists that I did work with. All I'm going to say is I just can't recommend them because of what they did. If they wanted to end things on a high note, and I told them this when I responded to their email, I said, you know, I was hoping we could end things on a higher note, and they kind of told me why. They just abruptly just blocked me out of nowhere and stuff. But it was a very unprofessional reason. We'll leave it at that. Well, actually, I'll say it just because they actually publicized that email that they sent to me. But it was, I just really, really don't like you. And it's like, okay, there we go. I'm not going to get into that, though. It's not worth it. I just tell people, just don't work with them. If you know who they are, just block them. And please do me a favor and don't try to contact them. Don't try to contact them. Don't go on their pages. You know, just pretend they don't exist, because I'm trying to put this behind me. I think they're trying to put it behind them, and I have moved on. I haven't visited their page on any other accounts. I haven't tried to, you know, I haven't tried to contact them. It's funny, after the block, they're the ones who contacted me. I'm not the one who went to them. They're the ones who sent me the strongly worded letter, so to speak. But it's over. I've got a new artist I work. In fact, there's a couple new artists I'm working with. So let's go on to a bit greener pastures then. There's something else musically that I think I announced this. Well, first off, the guitar lesson thing, or the guitar covers, I mean. I'm definitely going to do that when I get time. Like, I think people wanted me to do Black Hole Sun, and I think I learned it. I just can't play like Kim Thayil does, so I'm going to play Chris Cornell's parts when I sing that. The other thing, which you guys might be more interested in, is I said I was thinking about doing a little musical side project, but I didn't really clarify on what it was. But I think now I can talk about it. It's going to be free, by the way, so don't worry. It's not. And the reason, well, I'll talk about the reason why it's going to be free. So I'd seen ads for. It's extremely rare an ad can get me to buy a product, but on Facebook I was seeing this thing for Space Age Colors, which was a VST. Now, I don't know anything about VSTs. I've never used them, never had any use for them. But being into the 60s and 70s stuff like I am, it sounded just like something I would like. Well, I found out there was a whole bundle of all these instruments you could buy. So I saved up the money. It was not easy, but I saved up the money. I paid the $1,000 because they were having a sale on both the instrument pack and the software. You needed Kontakt, the full version, to run it. Excuse me. Now I haven't had time to really tinker with the program, but the musical project I was thinking was, well, I like all these obscure video game soundtracks. What if I did these 60s versions of them? Now, I'm really only going to use the brass and strings and like woodwinds and stuff from this instrument set. Basses, guitars and stuff, I plan on recording those on my own because I think that makes it more legit. You can hear like little nuances, but they did do a good job of these things. Like you can have the brass, shake, go doo, or you can do fall doo or something, or whoop or something. They did a really good job. There's a couple where you could hear the sample loops or whatever, but I think with the other instruments it'll blend in just fine. So that's what my idea was: 60s, 70s recreations or arrangements of obscure video game tunes that I like. So this isn't going to happen anytime soon. But as I get songs done, I'm going to release them, and then when I get all the songs off an album done, then I'll release an album or whatever. You can and they'll be free to download, and that's where it comes in. Since it's some of the stuff is licensed music, I don't want Nintendo having a conniption fit of me upload or having people buy music. Another thing is, and I know I made an exception to my Get Back cover by the Beatles, which I don't really think sounds that great. But that was just testing the system of using someone else's music on streaming platforms. But other than that, I don't really believe in making money off of others' music. I just kind of feel uncomfortable about it. So, with that said, I'm going to make this a free album when it's done. I'm going to release songs as I finish them, so you guys don't have to wait on those. And then I'll probably put like a download link or something. So it'll be an album, but I'm just going to release it in parts because that way people don't have to wait as long. So I'd say maybe in a few months I'd probably have one of them done. I have a list of songs that I do want to do, but for the first album. First album's going to be like obscure tunes. I was thinking for the second album maybe some like puzzle game themes. So we'll figure it out though. We'll figure it out. But let me know if you guys like the sound of that. Maybe you have some obscure video game music suggestions. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to working on it. So with that said, guys, I thank you guys so much for watching. For all the support throughout the years. It's hard to believe I have over 3,000 subscribers. I've been doing this for 20 years. One other thing I want to mention is I recorded this video. I haven't uploaded it yet. I don't know if people would be interested, but I did a video of me reacting to a few really old videos that I did. Like this is going back like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. And it was really surreal watching that stuff. It was like, wow, I can't believe I made this stuff. There's like one where I went to Goodwill and I found like a bunch of N64 controllers and some video games and stuff. And it's like, wow, you can't even find that stuff at Goodwill anymore. Like, they'll put it in the game stores for like $50. So, wow. It's amazing though. I remember that stuff. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support. God bless you all. Peace out. Have a good one.